All right. Hello, You Can Heal family. Welcome to another, um, this is not an episode, just another night of Tuck and Time with me. I'm your life coach, Shena Major, and I help people heal from unhealthy relationships and learn to love themselves. So we've been going through Iyanla Vanzant's book, One Day My Soul Just Opened Up. And tonight we're starting phase 4. And this should be a really good phase for those of us who are on our healing journey. Because after we do the phase 4, we're going to be learning about words. I should have written them down so I didn't have to fumble through. But some of the words we're going to go through in this phase are angry and confusion and disappointment. And let me give you one more, doubt. So this section is going to be really good. And tonight we're going to be talking about honoring what you feel. Honoring what you feel. And this is important because a lot of times when we have to feel, it hurts and it's painful and we don't want to. So we shut down or we run or we avoid what's going on inside of us. And then that's how we stay stuck and we never grow, right? And we never become everything that God has called us to be. So tonight I'm going to read to you phase 4, honor what you feel. And my hope is that you're going to get something out of it and you're going to become better, be better, feel better after hearing this section of Miss Van Zant's book. All right. So with that being said, let's get right to it. All right. Here we go. Phase 4. God can heal a broken heart, but He has to have all the pieces. That's from God's Little Devotional Book. Honor what you feel. There's nothing more frustrating than someone telling you that you should not feel something when you are feeling it. Don't they realize it's too late now? You are already in the midst of feeling it. Whatever the emotion you are experiencing at the time, someone shouldering on you, what is this word? Someone shouldering on you usually does not help you get out of it. As a matter of fact, just hearing what you should, oh, someone shoulding, I'm sorry, I knew that sounded weird. Whatever the whatever the emotion you are experiencing at the time, someone shoulding you on usually does not help you get out of it. As a matter of fact, just hearing what you should not do will either push you deeper into the feeling or make you feel guilty or ashamed. Guilt implies that there is something wrong with what you're doing. Shame implies that there is something wrong with you because of what you are doing. Since we now understand that there is no right or wrong, we must also understand that we have a right to feel whatever we feel. I want to go back and read a couple sentences up because I think they're important. So let's get this down in our spirit. Guilt implies that there's something wrong with what you're doing. Shame implies that there's something wrong with you because of what you're doing. All right. The next paragraph, unpleasant or negative emotions are merely expressions. They let us know that there is something in ourselves or our lives that is not being expressed at the highest possible level. Since most of us have been shamed or made to feel guilty about what we feel when we feel it, we have become afraid of our feelings. For myself, some of the most damaging experiences of my childhood stemmed from being told I was wrong or being punished for expressing what I was feeling. Shut up, don't cry, it doesn't hurt. Such comments told me that what I was feeling was not real or important. Don't touch that, said that natural inquisitiveness was not a good thing. Don't say that, it's not nice. Translated into the suppression of emotions and self doubt. There are many admonishments we hear as children that eventually result in not being able to trust what we feel and not knowing what to do about it when we feel it. Emotions or feelings, as we all call them, are the energies that move us in response to our thoughts and experiences. All right, that was a good sentence, so I'm going to read that again. I'm hoping that you have ears to hear what the Spirit's saying here. Emotions or feelings, as we call them, are the energies that move us in response to our thoughts and experiences. All emotions are neutral. They have no meaning other than the meanings we assign to them. An emotion is like a burst of energy that quickly circulates through the mind and body, indicating that there is an imbalance of energy that needs to be brought into balance. Balance, as used here, means neutrality or being void of meaning. When a thought or experience impacts the conscious mind, the energy begins to move throughout the mind and body, attaching itself to every little energy that already exists. This means that if a thought or experience evokes anger in you today, it will find and attach itself to every thought or experience that ever caused you to feel the same way. Whether your first experience was at age 3 or 5 or 16 does not matter. The energy of the experience remains in your subconscious mind. Fear, shame, guilt, love, joy, peace all operate in the same way. Consequently, the things that evoke emotion from you today are expressions of the same things that evoked these emotions the first time you experienced them. This theory leads many psychologists to say that you are never frightened, angry, guilty, or ashamed for the reason you think you are. The reason presenting itself before you today is the most recent experience, the last straw, so to speak. What goes on in our lives and the experiences that we have at any given moment is rarely the issue. Let's listen to that again. What goes on in our lives and the experiences that we have at any given moment is really the issue. We are responding to meanings and judgments we attach to the experiences. And it is our judgments that create imbalances in our mental and emotional energy. When you add to this the influences of the world that tell us that what we are feeling is wrong, the result is inner conflict. Conflict makes us beat up on ourselves. Like attracts like. Conflict in our mind and emotional nature attracts conflict from the world around us. The normal human response to conflict is blame. We look for and point to those people and experiences that have given rise to the imbalance of energy, the emotion we're experiencing. It is then that we find ourselves embroiled in fear, anger, more conflict, and the inability to express what we feel. In the worst case scenario, we express what we feel in inappropriate ways, such as violently striking out, screaming, or cursing. Even these expressions are not bad or wrong, they are inappropriate and socially unacceptable. You have a right to your thoughts and feelings. You also have a right to act in response to what you think and what you feel. Your actions are a reflection of who you are and what you believe to be true about yourself. Remember, thought plus word plus action equal results. There are predetermined boundaries that we are expected to adhere to, and it is our attempt to stay within these boundaries that creates conflict in our emotional being. Boundaries are for the protection of others. They do not determine the validity of what you are experiencing. Your feelings are always valid. The challenge we all face is to understand what we are feeling and to decharge or neutralize it, thereby making it possible to express the feeling at the highest level possible for the good of everyone involved. When you are angry, you're angry. When you are afraid, you are afraid. What we must each learn to do is to get beneath the feeling and root out the cause in order to bring our mental, emotional, and spiritual energies back into balance. This requires a great deal of work. It also requires having the courage to examine and explore our inner conflict. It demands patience with self and others. Most important, it requires the willingness to go back in order to go forward. Oh, now that's really important. It really is. I'm gonna read this again. She's pointing out that when you're angry, you're angry. When you're afraid, you're afraid. What you've got to learn to do is get beneath that feeling of anger or being scared and root out the cause in order to bring our mental, emotional, and spiritual energies back into balance. This requires a great deal of work. It also requires having the courage to examine and explore our inner and get around it. The pain is it's not going to just go away with time. You have to deal with it. She put that so well. All right, the next paragraph. I'm not trying to suggest here that if your mate, child, or supervisor does or says something that makes you angry, you should stop, rewind your mental tapes, identify when and how you first experienced anger, and try to express that feeling at this time. What I am asking you to do is to elevate what you feel to the highest possible expression. Do not deny what you feel. Just keep in the back of your mind that it will pass. I'm asking you to feel what you are feeling when you feel it and to admit to yourself and, if appropriate, to the other person that you are feeling it. If you're always in control, you are always in control. The moment you experience a burst of emotionally charged energy, suspend all judgment of yourself for feeling whatever it is and write it out. Trust yourself enough to know that you can feel anything and recover from it. Know that because you are feeling something does not mean you must act on it at the moment you are feeling it. Stay with it long enough to decharge it. Breathe deeply. If you can, write down what you are thinking and feeling, and then destroy the piece of paper with all the fervor you can muster. Above all else, for the first 30 to 60 seconds of the experience, please practice KYBYS. This ancient principle pronounced kibisps will ensure that you find the appropriate expression for your emotional imbalance. KYBYS means keep your big yap shut. Pull yourself together and allow your brain to refocus. Ask yourself, self, what is the real issue here? In 60 seconds or less, you will know exactly what to do. IQ Scott, you're listening while heading home. That's wonderful. Drive safe. Absolutely. Drive safe. Glad you're with me. I'm not by myself, so that's nice to have company. All right. That's just how divine and powerful you are. Later, when you can get off by yourself, you can practice some of the things outlined in this journal. You will not fall apart. You can move through any situation with your dignity and self-respect intact. Just remember to practice KYBYS. All right, my daughter decides to do the dishes right now, and it's really loud. I hope that you cannot hear that, Q Scott. I don't know if you can, but we're just going to have to take it and we're just going to have to keep going. The next section Miss Van Zant has here is emotional neutralization process. There are no quick fixes for emotional imbalances that require healing. Healing is an ongoing process. However, there will be moments when we must do something to provide ourselves with temporary relief and release from negative experiences and emotions. This chart is offered not as a quick fix, but as a process by which you can find temporary relief from the experience of a negative emotion. Most things offered here can be done in 60 seconds or less. It means you must be willing to tell the truth and not pass judgment on yourself or anyone else because of the temporary experience of a negative thought or feeling. It also means that the moment you get the opportunity, you must make the commitment to take this process to a deeper level and heal, neutralize your emotional being. By doing the following, you may find it easier to move through an experience without hurting yourself or anyone else. So the next part of this section, it looks like kind of like a chart. So on the left side, it says when you feel, and it gives an emotion, and then it says you can. So I'm going to go through all these because they're little, she says quick fixes, but they're little like tools you can have to help you when you're having a feeling coming up and you need to neutralize it. So let me get some water. Okay. When you feel angry, you can take several deep breaths, give up the need to be right, and forgive yourself. You must practice forgiveness. Forgive the person who has evoked the anger. Put yourself in the other person's place and speak to them, saying what you would want to hear under these same circumstances. Tell the person how you feel and ask if you can continue the conversation later. Call on the divine and ask that your mind, heart, and words be tempered with love. So that's really good. So let me go over that again. If you're feeling angry, you can take several deep breaths, give up the need to be right, and forgive yourself. And then she says here, you must practice forgiveness. Forgive the person who has evoked the anger. Put yourself in the other person's place, saying what you would want to hear under these same circumstances. That's a really good skill to know how to do. Tell the person how you feel and ask if you can continue the conversation later. And then, of course, call on the divine and ask that your mind, heart, and words be tempered with love. All right, the next example is when you feel confused. You can identify what you really want. Admit what you really want to yourself. You must practice meditation. So this is the practice that goes along with the feeling. So like when you feel angry, the practice is forgiveness. When you feel confused, the practice is meditation. And she says, do not judge what you want. Let everyone involved know what you really want. Identify what you perceive to be the issues facing you. Make a plan to handle one issue at a time. Write the plan down and then follow it. Yeah, they are really good, Q Scott, really good. Now, the next feeling is when you feel disappointed, you can examine your intent. Admit your true intent to yourself. So when you're feeling disappointed, you must practice truth. She says here, admit your true intent to yourself. Admit to yourself whether or not you told everyone involved your true intent. Forgive yourself for not being honest and make a new plan that will get you what you really want. So when you're disappointed, you're going to practice truth. The next thing is when you feel doubtful, you can breathe and suspend all judgments. So when you're feeling doubtful, you must practice patience. Pray for guidance and detach from the outcome. Detach from the outcome. That's really good. Let's see how many more. All right, she's got 1, 2, 3, 4 more. The next thing is when you feel frightened or fearful, you can breathe deeply, examine your expectations. That is, what you are expecting as an outcome. You must practice trust. So when you're frightened, you must practice trust. Examine your intent. That is, why are you doing whatever you are doing? Detach from the outcome, call on the divine for strength, support, and guidance, and remind yourself of everything you can be grateful for. The next one is guilty. When you feel guilty, you can admit what you have done to yourself and admit what you have done to another person. You must practice. Examine your motives and the information. All right, so you must practice acceptance when you feel guilty. Accept that was a, let me start over. Examine your motives and the information. Acceptance that was available to you at the time of the act. Be honest, forgive yourself, ask someone to forgive you for what you have done. Explore the ways you can compensate someone for what you've done. Perform at least one act of compensation and remain conscious of what you are doing at all times. The next one is lonely. When you feel lonely, you can hug yourself. Now, you guys know that's one of my favorite skills and tools is to hug myself. So I like that it's here. I probably got that from her when I went through this the first time. All right, so when you're feeling lonely, you can hug yourself. You can go to a quiet open field or park and lie on the ground. You can remember those who love you and the times you felt love. You must practice service. Pray and ask the divine to fill your heart with love and examine your intent, that is, why you did what you did. I really like that one. When you're feeling lonely, the practice is service, and that's true because, when you feel alone, it's such a woe is me time and you feel sorry for yourself. But when you focus on other people, it gets your mind off of you and you realize things aren't so bad. You don't have it so bad. The last one here is when you feel unappreciated, you must practice non-judgment. So that's good. So when you feel appreciated, you can examine your expectations of others, and then you can forgive yourself for judging others, do something nice for a stranger, and write yourself a love letter when you're feeling unappreciated. So those are really good. I'm just going to go through and read the feeling and the practice you must have behind the feeling. So the first feeling, if you feel angry, you must practice forgiveness. When you're feeling confused, you must practice meditation. When you feel disappointed, you must practice truth. When you feel doubtful, you must practice patience. And when you feel frightened or fearful, you must practice trust. When you feel guilty, you must practice acceptance. When you feel lonely, you must practice service. And when you feel unappreciated, you must practice non-judgment. So there you have it. Really good stuff there. So if you're ever having any of these feelings, you can go back and find this video and see what Miss Vanzant has to say and how to help yourself work through that feeling. So that was really good. So that's the introduction to phase 4. And we just finished that. So there's no journal prompts tonight, you guys. Sorry. Don't know it. Can't find out what was going on in my head at this time when I did that. But these were really good. And starting tomorrow, yes, I sure will. They are great tips, Q Scott. Very good. So tomorrow, day 23, the word for tomorrow is angry. So it looks like she's going to go through maybe each of these feelings that we just went through tonight. So tomorrow's day 23 and the word is angry. So I've been doing this sneak peek thing. So I'm going to read the definition of anger as she has it, and then we'll be all set. So tomorrow it says the emotion we will work through tomorrow is anger. It is the response to built up frustration, a rebellion against authority, the experience of having one's sense of personal power denied or infringed upon. So I can't wait to read her commentary again and see what story or looks like it. She starts off with a bunch of questions, so it'll be interesting to see what tomorrow brings. So there you have it, you guys. Thank you so much for being with me. Q Scott, I appreciate the company. Hopefully you're getting closer to being home and you'll be safe and sound when you get there. And if you're listening to this in the morning, I hope it's a great way to start your day or whenever. Just thankful that you care enough about you to go on this healing journey with me. Okay, you just pulled in. Perfect, perfect. All right, then. I wonder what time it is where you are, because here it is 10:47. So hopefully, you can transition and get tucked in and get a good night's rest tonight, Q Scott. So, all right, I'm so glad that we had this time together. And 9:47. Okay, so you're an hour ahead of you. All right, so you've got a little bit of time to get your bed night routine going. You are so welcome. You are so welcome. All right, love you, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.